I'm going to try this Gita in the light of pure Vedanta. So what the Vedas say according to that, we'll discuss Gita here. So I started from the first verses of Gita. So before we start Gita, it's always, it's good to meditate or worship Krishna because it's his Gita. So we need his blessings. So according to Gita, today when I was trying to prepare, I figured out, according to Gita, the one who is ready to give knowledge is the Krishna. And the one who is ready to receive knowledge is the Arjuna. Because Krishna was there, and the people who were not ready to take his knowledge, they were not able to even hear the Gita. So whoever were ready, they were able to take it. So Krishna said around 700 shlokas, like 700 verses, to make Arjuna understand what is right and how he should behave. The best part I like of Gita and the character of Krishna here, that he was a teacher who never gave up. Usually we try to make someone understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then we are like, okay, I'm done. No more. But here we can see the Krishna. He said like 700 times to make Arjun understand what is the right way of doing the duties. And you will see that Krishna have like many different methods he tried to make understand. So if we become like Arjun, if we trust on our Krishna, our Guru, then how the Arjun got the knowledge, it will become very easy for any of us to take that knowledge inside us. So when we see here the relationship between Krishna and Arjun, they were friends. They were cousins. They used to go hunting together. They used to play together. Even in the war, they came together. And suddenly, one of the friend became teacher and one became disciple. So it was not easy for Arjun to accept Krishna like that. With whom you are spending your day like friend, and suddenly that person is saying that I'm the Brahm, I'm the God, I'm the everything. So it was very hard for Arjun to believe and to understand that suddenly this my friend, how come he became a God? Like for us also, if we are talking with someone or we are living in a family with someone and it turned out that one person is God, it will be so shocking for us. Because before that, we had very normal relationship with that person. But if the person turned out to be of very higher consciousness, the relationship changes. So it was a shock for Arjun that, okay, what happens? Suddenly, how come he became so knowledgeable? How he is giving me this knowledge? The only thing which helped Arjun to stay connected to Krishna at that point was the love inside and the trust. He has a simple love for his friend and trust on his friend, that whatever happens, my friend will not do any harm to me. So we need to understand that sometimes unconditional love and trust, it helps us to listen others, to understand others. And by that, maybe we will also have a breakthrough and our life can change. So most of the time, what happens? We are not ready to listen. Because every time, if someone is telling us something, our intellect come in between and it question answer, or our mind is not stable, not ready to listen. But in that part, I will always say that don't listen to everyone. The person should be like Krishna, whom you are listening. Right? If you listen some people whose consciousness is not that high, it will damage you also. So that judgment also we have to learn, that how we have to decide whom to listen and whom to not to listen. And then we have to try to become a good listener. So the Arjun was a listener here. He was a disciple. He was a listener. And Krishna was the guru, the biggest guru, I can say. Now let's see what does the Krishna means here. So everybody have a name, right? And we all have beautiful names, and our names have beautiful meanings also. But when we think about the name of the Krishna, it's like a beautiful name, and it has lot of depth inside. The Krishna means the one who attracts you. The Krishna came out from the akarshan. Akarshan is a Hindi word which means attraction. So it came out from the akarshan, Krishna. So the Krishna is one who is attracting you. So the pure consciousness, divine love, Brahm, ultimate truth, it always attracts us. It always pulls us towards itself. And then what happened? Because our body is made of so many ego tendencies, and with the ego, and the body is made of 5 elements and the nature, right? So these 5 elements and nature pull us downward, and the attraction of the God try to pull us upward. So all the time, the constant fight is happening. Right? Many people tell me that I wanted to come, I couldn't come. This happened, that happened, that happened. And I totally understand this is the Prakriti, the nature. The nature is pulling you back. The nature doesn't want you to become enlightened. So the constant fight is happening because Krishna, the name is attraction. So he is attracting us. And the other way, the nature is pulling us. So we have to understand. And what happened? When two things are pulling, what happened? The string have tension, right? If we are holding something very tight and pulling, then this string have tension. That tension we say stress, that we are in stress. We don't know what to do. We can give up and go to the Prakriti level. We can fight and go towards up and go near the Krishna. So it's always it's we are the one who have to decide how we have to live our life. So what happened that because of this tension in the string, right? Sometimes this one pulls, sometimes this one pulls, and the movement happen. These movements, we say that the life is going up and down, right? Life is not smooth in one line for anyone. It always goes up and down. That's why this up and down happens in our life. If we decide that, okay, we are not going to go towards Krishna, we are happy with the way we are, then there will be no problem. And if we decide that we are just only going to look towards the Supreme, towards Krishna, then also there won't be no up and down. But in the journey which we are, we always face up and down. So that is the main reason. And that's why we all have so many problems in our life, because of not making the pure decision. And that's totally fine. This is the way. Even the Arjun went like that. This is the way everybody has to go up. So the constant fight is always going on in our life. And every time, consciously, we have to understand to make Krishna win, to make divine win. So we have to make more powerful to that part of the entire universe. So that's why we say that whatever the Mahabharata fight was happening in the Kurukshetra, that fight is always inside everyone. So whatever was happening there, it's going inside our body also. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita is like the main book, right? And we don't know the original date when it was said. Like some people say that it was the first millennium BCE, or some scholar says that it was between 5th to 2nd century. But when we see many of the Buddha's books, Buddha's text, we see quotes from Gita. So we know that Gita was far before Buddha. Because it was said, it was vocal, it was Shruti. So all the text, all the books are divided into two parts. One part is called as Shruti, and one part is called as Smriti. So the Ved, Upanishad, and Gita, they come into Shruti. Shruti means listening. Shruti means listening, memorizing it. So we are listening, we are memorizing, and same thing we are saying, like how we do the mantra japa and all those, right? We listen it, we memorize it, and the same thing we say. So they all come in this Shruti, because it's always the correct. We cannot change anything in that, because they are like a song. If we change some words here and there in Gita, then it won't be put in the meter of the songs, because people sing Gita. In other hand, there is Smriti. Smriti means remembrance. Like you're remembering and you're writing. In those texts, all the Puran comes and all other books where you see the stories of God, those all things come on in the Smriti. That maybe it happened and you have a remembrance of it, you have a memory of it, and then you are writing it. So Smriti is memory and Shruti is listening. So the listening is always the pure one, because you cannot change any of the word. So we cannot say that somebody came and they changed anything in the Gita. Gita is still in the pure form. And it is said to be the modern Upanishad, the latest Upanishad. Upanishad are considered as a part of Vedas. Uh, and Gita is also said that it's the modern Upanishad. So the Gita starts with the Dhritarashtra Vacha, means Dhritarashtra said. Dhritarashtra was blind. So everybody was gone to the battlefield in the Kurukshetra for the war. Only Dhritarashtra was in the palace because he was blind, so he was not allowed to go and fight. But when he was at home, he was more curious. He was anxious to know what is happening in the battlefield. So there was one of the advisor whose name was Sanjay. The Sanjay has a special power. He had a divine vision, like we say Divya Drishti. So he was appointed to look at the war and narrate all the story to the Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra said, because he was the king, the blind king, he said the Sanjay, that Dhamashetra, Kurukshetra, Samaveta, Yutsava, Mama Kaha Pandavaskavyaha, Himakruta Sanjaya. Like he's asking the Dharm Kshetra, Kurukshetra. The Kurukshetra was the battlefield, but it is called Dharm Kshetra also, because that fight was for the righteousness, because it was for the right cause. So he called it Dharamkshetra and Kurukshetra. And then he said that Mamakaha means like my sons. So till he said Mamkaha, everybody thought, the Sanjay thought, that he is talking about all the sons, his sons and his brother's sons. But in the next word, he said that Pandavakahas. Like, so he was so eager to know that what his sons are doing in the battlefield and what the Pandavas like are doing in the battlefield. So the Kauravas, the Dhritarashtra has 100 sons. and the Pandavas were only 5. So Pandavas always regarded Dhritarashtra as their father because he was their father's elder brother. They obeyed his orders. It was justice or injustice. Then also they obeyed whatever Dhritarashtra said. But when Dhritarashtra differentiated between Mamakaha and Pandavas, like he said, they both are separate. So this was the first sign that Dhritarashtra showed that he was doing partiality. Because Dhritarashtra was a king should be never partial. But being a king, he was partial. Because of his partiality, the entire family has to suffer the destruction. So in the first shloka only, it shows that because of his mental conflict, everybody faced the problem. Because if you are a king, right? If you are a king, so you should not be partial. Or if you are a head of a family or head of a company or anything, you should never be partial. Everyone should be at the same level for you. Because if you are partial, then the conflict will happen. And the family or the company or the kingdom, that will destroy. Because the king, the head became partial. So we have to understand, doesn't matter whatever situation is there, we need to not to become partial. We need to learn to become impartial all the time. And why this partiality happens? Because of attachment. We are so much attached to some things that we become partial. So the main cause of the partiality is the attachment. So what happened, if you take a yogurt or curd and we churn it and the butter comes, right? Same way, when you have selfish feelings inside, you are partial, you are not good from inside, then also a churning happens inside. So always remember that if we are not having a good feeling for somebody, if we are having too much attachment with something, the butter which will come out, that butter will be poisonous. It will create destruction everywhere. So from this first shloka, we got that we should never be partial. We should be equal for everyone. We should not be attached to anything too much. Attachment makes us partial. Most of the time, we are so much partial about our kids. It's not Dhritarashtra's story. It's a story for all of us, right? Whenever it comes about our kids, we all become partial. And in India, I know there are many saying also, like if you turn like Dhritarashtra, you'll destroy everything. The attachments, the moh, the maya makes anyone behave like Dhritarashtra. And at that time, they ignore all the problems what their kids are creating or which way their kids are going. They are into so much attachment that they don't want to see the truth. And it breaks everything. Because in Kurukshetra war, so many people died, right? So if you want to see a calculation that who was the person who started this war, so Dhritarashtra was the main person. He was not a right king, like what he is saying. So in the second shloka, the Sanjay told him that I can see that entire Kurukshetra is filled with Pandavas and Kauravas army. They both are standing in front of each other. And I can see the Dronacharya. The Dronacharya was the teacher of Pandavas and Kauravas both. Dronacharya taught him how to fight, how to use weapons, how to use archery. And like we all know, the Arjun was his favorite student. Arjun was one of the Pandavas. He was his favorite student. So First, Sanjay said that I'm looking at the army of Pandavas. They are standing in a good order, right? They are standing so nicely in a good order. All the warriors are united. They don't have different kind of opinion. Why they are united? Because they are on the right path. They are fighting for the righteousness. That's why they are united. They are on the right path. They don't have different opinions. They all are fighting so the Pandavas can get their part. So they all are same. They don't have different opinions. And they all are standing with Krishna. So now we can see, because they are standing with Krishna is there. The righteousness is there. Right? And they all are, they don't have any conflict in between, and they all are standing and they are very calm. The Pandavas were fewer in number. So when you see the army, you can see a very small army of Pandavas, and then you can see a big army of Kauravas. So what happened about that? That because they were in the exile for 12 years and 13 years, so they did not have contact with many of the kings. When they were not in the kingdom, at that time, Duryodhan, their cousin, he started to do friendship with all other kings. So when this big war will happen, he will have a big army. Then another great thing happened, that when this before the war started, the Arjun and the Kauravas were going to different kingdom for asking help. So the Krishna have like 11 Akshuni Sena. It means like maybe 1100,000 or something, a big number warriors Krishna had. So the Duryodhana and Arjun, they reach at the Krishna house at the same time. And Krishna was sleeping. They all were cousins. So when Arjun saw Krishna sleeping, he sat near the feet of Krishna. And when Duryodhan saw the Krishna, he sat near the chair, near the head, behind the head. So when the Krishna woke up, whenever we wake up, we'll see towards our feet. So he saw Arjun. And he greeted Arjun and he said, "Oh, you came here. How are you?" Then Duryodhan said that, "I came before and I am also sitting here." So Krishna turned and he looked at the Duryodhan. That you are also here and you are sitting there. Then Krishna asked that, "I will be not participating in the war. I am not going to use any weapon. But I can help you guys. You guys tell me what." Krishna knew that both of them came to him for his army. His army was very big and very famous army. So Krishna said that, "I can divide, one of you can take my entire army and one of can take me. I will be on your part. So you guys tell me." So Duryodhan, because he was so worldly, he was operating from his third layer, mental layer. He thought that, okay, like the street smart, he said that, okay, I want the big army. If I have the big army, I will be the winner. And it's the Krishna's army. And he said that, okay, I'm happy. I will get the big army. You give me the army. Krishna said, okay, you take my army. And what did Arjuna said? He said, "Hey, Keshav." Keshav is one of the name of Krishna. That if only you are with me, we don't need anything. I don't need anything. Just you come and be with me. You don't even have to take any weapon in your hand. Just your presence will remove all the problems. So the love, the trust, the devotion in Krishna, we can see here. And the street smart, working from the mind-based, like big things, we can see in the Duryodhan. So two different kind of mentality here we saw. So that's why the Pandavas' army was very short army. It was not a big army. And Kauravas were like large army. But then also, they were small in number, but they were united. They were on the right path. When you are united, you are on the right path. Your body language changes. You are not afraid of anything because you know that you are doing the right thing. So looking at them, the Duryodhan, he became worried. He was like, they are so less and they are so confident. So he walked towards the Guru Dronacharya. So there are three reasons why he walked towards his Guru. One we can say because of his selfish interest. He was thinking that he will take some talk some bad about Pandavas and, try to make the Dronacharya more happy. So one reason can be that. The second reason is there that he wanted to show some respect towards his Guru. So he went and talked to him. And the third reason here we see that because the Guru was like greatest warrior, one of the greatest warrior in the battlefield. If he comes down from his chariot, it won't look good. So Duryodhan went to him to talk to him. So there can be three reasons. Nobody knows what was the true reason behind Duryodhan's mind. He went to talk to Dronacharya. In the second shloka, we saw that they are using the word Raja for Duryodhan. Because his father was blind, he cannot see. So most of the work was done by the Duryodhan in the empire. He used to go and, hold public meetings and talk to people and take care of everything. So he was not king. But then also Sanjay said that Raja to him because his father was like a dummy king. And Duryodhan was the one who was taking care of everything. And then when we understand this thing, that the father was a dummy king and Duryodhan was one who was taking care of everything. So two reasons came, right? One was the Dhritarashtra reason, because he was too much attached to his son. He was very partial. That's why. The second reason came because Duryodhana was also too much attached to kingdom. So that's why they went towards the war. So then there is one more word here. When Duryodhana was going towards Dronacharya, so like there is a word in Sanskrit, Kim Kurtavaha. So like three meaning is there for this word, like doubt, reapproach, or question. So when he's walking towards his Guru, maybe he has some doubt. Maybe he wants to reapproach. Reapproach comes here in the meaning of blaming. Maybe he wants to go to his Guru and do some gossip, do some blaming there. And the third one comes here like questioning him, that this kind of army is there. What is the plan for you to do the, how to conduct war or other thing. So another line said that maybe these three things should be the Duryodhana's mind. So whenever we go, whenever we are cautious, whenever we want to know something, we also have these kind of things inside. We also have doubt. We also reapproach. We also go and question. So it's like everyday's behavior. We all do like that, right? Whenever we are doing something, it's not that there is only one reason. There can be multiple reasons. There can be multiple ways. So as we understand the Gita one by one, the shloka, you will start understanding the human behavior, your own behavior. Why the mind is thinking, if the mind is thinking, is it right or wrong? If the thinking is wrong, what can it's going to produce? Like what will be the outcome after that? So for today, I just did these two shlokas.